Hey everybody, welcome to Snow Talk. Brian Good with you guys here on this Thursday. You can see the traffic there at the bottom of the camera backing up because we're already running into problems with River Road again as the Ohio is out of its banks, and that is impacting those that exit off the ramp off there at 3rd Street near the KFC Yum Center. So we don't see it being closed or anything like that, but just a heads up, there will be some delays at times because of the river once again being a problem. It's at flood stage, the upper gauge now. The lower gauge is forecast to be later on for tonight. All right, so we'll keep you updated on that. Meanwhile, we've had a cold morning, below freezing. Hard freeze took place this morning as expected, and we're going to enjoy a nice looking day today. We'll have some high level clouds streaming in, but really a good amount of sunshine, lighter winds. That's good, and still a decent amount of dry air, so we'll have a chance to really warm up, close to 60 in fact. So what's next? Well, I'm so glad you asked, because this is where we're going to run into problems for tomorrow night into Saturday, and perhaps again Sunday. First off, a little wave here that's passing to our north may kick up. There's a little bit of lift tonight. You'll see on some of the high-res models that could spark a shower late tonight across southern Kentucky. Right now, I'm going to keep that out of the forecast. I think it'll be too dry to be of any consequence. But that's about it in the short term. Our system for the 36-hour period for Friday night into Saturday is now onshore. This one piece is. And we have seen a shift in the most recent model run that came in, a dramatic one that took place, you'll see in a second. Is that a result of the first round of sampling of this wave now onshore in the Rockies? Yeah, I'm sure some of it is involved in the equation. The full sample will be midday today, but if this is where to be a hint of where it's going to go, we may luck out here on the snowfall potential. So, the setup will involve that piece moving onshore now. It'll work its way to the south and east over the Rockies as we head through tonight and tomorrow. It's going to dive in across portions of Arkansas and Mississippi. At the same time, there's another wave that's rotating around this big low in the Great Lakes. It's going to be diving down to the south, and it's going to help steer the path of this piece, how far north or south it's going to go. And for a while, look, they would line up together to kind of phase together right into Kentucky and Tennessee to allow for a decent amount of lift, a tremendous amount, in fact, with heavy rain and then heavy snow on the northern track. What has happened with the first little taste of sampling is it looks like this piece is going to be a bit faster to move in before this one has a chance to dig down, which means a couple of things. One, this is going to be the one that's really your cold air supplier because it would slow this bad boy down to allow the rates to really pick up. But also its path, if it were to dig down and line up a little more than what is indicated, what you have in, let me try to draw this right, is the wave would dive down, this piece drops in, and because it digs so much, it actually causes it to lift back up and then head out in this fashion, which would leave a snow band on the northern side. Without that northern influence lining up at the same time, this digs in and then just kind of, see you later. Heads on out. And then this digs in behind it like, hey, where'd you go? So that is important. How these pieces are timed out and their arrival and will determine the track, the rate of precipitation, and of course the amount. And really I'm curious to see what happens with the midday model run to see if we are seeing that offset really be the reality, or was it just a glitch and then sure enough they end up lining back up again, because just about every single model showed something's off about 3 hours ago. It was indicating that. So that's your heads up on that. Now, right now the Weather Service has issued a winter storm watch where the phasing process, the two meet up in our area. This includes Illinois all the way to West Virginia and a good chunk of wave country, Louisville included. They issue winter storm watches to explain this up to 48 hours before an event is to take place. During that 48 hours, they can then decide, based on new information coming in, to change that to a winter weather advisory, or change it to a winter storm warning, or drop it altogether. Those are your three options. So they're now going through the data like I am here, and I'm sure as Andy gets in here shortly, and as well as Kevin and Ryan later, we'll look over things and decide for ourselves. Are we looking at a phased situation, or is this going to be a situation where the amounts will be lower? The difference in advisory really and warning is 4 inches. That's the threshold above or below that mark. And so a lot of decisions still to be made, so the watch is just to bring awareness, and then Hopefully the new alerts coming in will kind of fine-tune that. So let's show you one of our high-res metals, and this is one of the dramatic examples I'm referring to here. And I forgot to move this one bar. Anyway, you'll see what happens. The wave dives in. This is the overnight stuff. 50s to near 60 today. There's some sprinkles overnight tonight. Hope the model doesn't cut out. Now here we go tomorrow afternoon. Look how quickly that wave off the Rockies is already moving across Tennessee. And we're 61 degrees. It's rain. By the time it moves out, now this is where the model begins to stop. I apologize, I didn't finish the time frame out. That piece is here. Here it comes now. The dive to drop the numbers down, but your moisture supplier is gone. So we're seeing other pieces of evidence of this idea, looking at the ensembles from the GFS. The black line is basically the average here of what the models are indicating for snowfall potential in Louisville. And here's your amounts on the left-hand side. Here's 1 inch all the way up to 11 inches of snow. Notice yesterday, for midday, the ensembles from GFS were indicating anywhere from high-end number of over a foot of snow. The low-end number, at least 2 inches would fall, which would put us roughly in a 4 to 6 inch range. That was yesterday's GFS ensemble idea. The one run at midnight last night, this morning, it came in. Notice we didn't have as many on the higher end, and we started to pick up some on the lower end, but still the average was roughly about 4, maybe 5 inches. That's what then led to the winter storm watch to be issued, because it had been consistent in that higher end range for the past 2 to 3 days. Now let me show you the most recent run that came in. Now we're losing all but one, and it's not even to the foot level anymore like the others were. It's focusing now more at about maybe 2 to 3 inches, and some are now showing 0. At least one is. So we're seeing an obvious shift. As I revert this back, if I can do that, you'll see that an obvious shift that's happening here from the higher end totals to the lower end. So going back to, whoops, here we go again. Yesterday midday, watch the black line. There it is this morning, and there it is recently. Can't ignore that. That's a significant trend, and that's all we can do with models like this until we get into within range of radar and weather balloons to really gauge this. All we have is models to go with and pattern recognition, and this is the way it's trending. Okay, so having said that, I've adjusted this math several times, but in general, I think we're still looking at accumulating snow potential, because these could still line up, guys. I'm not taking it off the table. I am going to go on the lower end for now. Let Andy evaluate it, and Kevin and Ryan later decide whether or not we need to go back up again or not. I don't know how that will trend yet. Wish I had that answer, but just know the potential is still there, and we'll leave it at just at a potential, not a guarantee. Hope that made sense. I do want to mention Sunday, because there is another wave Sunday that moves in. Later in the day, this one could be a rain-snow deal. We'll watch it for you guys to the north. I think is more of an issue there. Once it's out of here, I do see signs of near 80 degrees next weekend with thunderstorms, but we may be able to lock in a somewhat warmer pattern as we get closer to thunder. We shall see how that trends. More on that once we get past this little mess here. All right, have a good day, guys.